Okay, so now we've got everything installed. We're going to go ahead and we're going to close that down. Yeah, I'm going to close that down, and I'm going to minimize that. So now we can just look at our structure. We've got our assets. We've got composer.json. We got the log file, and then the index and our plugin. These are all the files that we need. Okay. Well, the next thing that we need to do, the next thing I want to do is I want to show you how to use Kint. Okay. Well, let's go and do that right now. Okay. So here's Kint. And it's letting us know that this is a modern, powerful PHP debugging helper. Okay, it's going to replace out your var dump, your backtrace, your print R, your echoes. You don't need to do those anymore. Instead, you can just use Kint. There's lots of things you can do with it. All right, I'm going to scroll down. Watch your eyes. Okay, so what we want to do is a D. D is just going to dump it out to the screen. Okay, well, you've got a longer version here if you want to do that, but I never do this one. I just do the D. If you want to die and dump, well, at some point he changed it to a triple D. We'll see if the double D works again for us. You'll see me using triple D a lot just because I know he switched it at some point. Okay, so that's one way. If you want to trace it, you can do a trace. Or if you just want to pass one to dump out, you can do this. There's multiple things you can do with it. There's configuration that you can run here. Here's some available modifiers for you. Okay, you can go through and you can play with these. All right, so what we want to do is we want to get starting using this. Well, how do we do that? Okay, well, let's come back up here. And the first thing that we're going to have to do is we have to include this autoload file. Why? Well, because it loads up both the whoops and Kint for us. So we don't have to include those files. No, Composer will do it for us. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we're going to want to require it. So let's come over here and we're going to say, okay, require, type this with me. And we just want to require it once, which isn't going to be a big deal whether you write it require or require once, because this file is only going to be loaded one time for each page load. All right. We'll put it as required once, but you could also just do it as require. Okay. So we have to have this thing. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do our magic constant for directory. So that tells us where we're at right now. Then we're going to come in and we're going to do, well, if I could type, then we want to do assets, vendor, and autoload. Okay. How did I get that? Well, here's the plugin right here. Okay. So I'm at the root of my plugin folder. Okay. Then we want to come to assets, vendor, and autoload. See it? Assets, vendor, autoload.php. So we're requiring this file to get loaded now with our plugin. If we open this up, you can see, okay, it's going to come in. It's going to autoload real. Well, where's that at? Let's come into Composer. Slide over. You can see here's a class map, files, namespaces, PSR4. What it's doing is this. Here in your autoload, you're specifying how you want things to be laid out. Well, I go here into Kint, for example, and I take a look at their Composer file, and I scroll down. I can see autoload files, and they've got this in here for how they want that loaded. Okay, so Composer's using that to say, okay, I'm going to load that file. Well, where is it? Right there. All right, so if I then go into files here, I can see it gives it a unique key. See that? Gives me a vendor directory, which is based upon where our vendor directory is at. Then we're going to go and we're going to say, okay, I want to load that file. And that's what it will do for you. You don't have to load these files yourselves. Composer's taking care of it. Okay, so now we see that. We can close all this out. We come back to here, and now we have it loaded. Here's what I want you to do. We're just going to dump this out. See, I did think so. A double D, you see it scratched out right there. So we do want the triple D now. We're just going to die and dump. We're going to say in here just to see that, hey, this works. Okay, let's load it. First, we have to activate. Okay, activate our plugin. And as soon as we do that, we get an in here. See that? Because we died and dumped. Okay. All right, so let's come back over here. I'm going to pull that out for now. And we'll just go ahead and let's make sure that we get activated first. Okay, so go ahead now, click this activate with me. Now now your plugin is activated. Let's go back to the front end. And let's put this back in. Okay, let's do this again. Ready? Okay, in here. Now, what the die and dump does is this. It's the same thing as doing like var dump and then wrapping something in here and then doing die. Okay, so var dump sends it out to the browser so you can look at it, right? That's how we saw it on our screen. The dump says stop the execution right here, right now. So whatever you're doing, we're just going to stop. And the program stops loading right there. WordPress stops, plugins all stop, everything stops. We're done executing at that point. So that's what die does. So when you go D, 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 you're doing a combination of both of those. When you just do D, you're just doing the var dump out. Okay, well, let's try this. I want to show you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to say add action. And I'm going to say, which one do we want to do? Maybe loop start. And I'm going to do namespace because I'm in a namespace. And what's my callback? We're just going to say demo for now. Nothing too funky. Demo. And now what I want to do is this. Because we're in loop start, I should be able to get the ID. So let's just do that. Get the ID of the post and let's send that out to the screen. Okay. Here we go. So it's telling me this. It told me what it ran, what's inside of its parentheses. So if I go back, this is what's inside of its parentheses. And that's really handy when you're debugging, isn't it? You got to know what the heck you're dumping out to the screen. Versus if I just did this. All right, let me show you the other ways. So if I just come down and I do var dump versus echo, and let's see what we get. Okay, var dump gives me int and a 1. And echo just gives me the data itself. Okay. Kint gives me what's wrapped within its parentheses. See? And it gave me what data type it is and the value. See that? But it also gave me this. Called from root, and it showed me that it's in the plugin.php on line 28. Line 28, see it? This is nice when you're trying to trace what's going on. The other thing that it does, if you open it up, it gives me a path. So I can go through and I can see what my call stack up was. In case I've had a problem, I can go and try to find, okay, what did it just go through to find what's going on? It's really nice. Okay, so now you've got Kint installed in your plugin, and you didn't have to go out and pull it in from a different plugin. No, now it's available to you right in your plugin for you to use.